When your whole life was built to break you, how do you turn that into a weapon? Two warriors, one named Maki, both shaped by systems that tried to erase them. Now they fight, not just to win, but to prove they shouldn't have been overlooked. One was raised to cut down her bloodline, the other molded to control chaos with fire. So what happens when Zen'in rage meets O's precision? When cursed energy that rejects sorcery collides with pyrokinetic mastery that bends it midair? Who breaks first? The one who cuts through everything, or the one who never lets anything land? We'll break down their powers, pain points, and the turning point that flips this match in a heartbeat. Because only one Maki leaves with the name, the win, and the proof they were always more than what they were born into. We'll map abilities, the weaknesses each can exploit, and the exact moment the tide turns. Stakes are clear. Company 8 pride, the Zen'in legacy, and the real Maki crown. And yes, if someone shouts, Maki, move, both move. Clean comms only. So, between brute resolve and surgical fire control, whose discipline cracks first? We pivot straight into the core contest of temperament and technique. Resolve versus fire control.
Twin hover units Tekio at the ready. Move out!
We start with what defines them under pressure. O's runs on drill-hardened routine. Second-gen ignition on command. Named fire constructs deployed with purpose, acting like chess pieces that screen and bait. She reps baton and shield and lives in squad comms, so her tempo stays steady even when the room spikes to chaos. Zen'in is the opposite rhythm. She's a close quarter specialist who trims movement to pure function, reads beats, then lands at the hinge moment with a cursed tool parry or a timing-based counter. Minimal steps, maximum payoff. Both were shaped by institutions that tried to box them in. O's pushed through skepticism to earn her frontline role and guard her team with clean, disciplined flame control. Zen'in grew inside a clan that undervalued her. She answered with work, ethic, and conditioning so intense it rewrote her future. Different roads, same goal, respect on their terms. And that's where the cracks hide. O's precision can desync if emotions spike. Zen'in's grit can tunnel into an overcommit, especially against layered setups. Let's map gear to liabilities. O's can float mid-air flames to fake lanes, create heat screens, and force bad reads. She can launch from odd angles with quick, tight gestures, cutting her tail. Her baton drills give her clinch options when space collapses, and her shield work buys seconds for ignition. Zen'in carries cursed tools like extensions of intent, chaining throws and locks that punish any reach. She uses low profiles and simple cover to break lines of sight and angles her entries to erase setup time. Here's the analogy that matters. O's plays zone defense with heat, while Zen'in is the on-ball stopper who rips the play at half court. Zone can frustrate. On-ball can flip a game with one read. When durability and relentless pressure meet precise heat management, raw toughness doesn't solve timing traps. O's targets rhythm and footing, not just surface temperature. Zen'in can tank incidental heat better than most, but she still has to solve the board. We close one gap now. Whose internal resolve is steadier at baseline? O's, her composure keeps a stable pulse under chaos, but Zen'in's surge mentality spikes higher in clutch windows, and those spikes decide fights. If the baseline edge leans to O's, the next layer is about creating the window. Can Zen'in craft the exact beat that flips the table before the screens and feints finish cooking, or does O's tighten control and squeeze out the read? Hold that thought. The adjustments and the routes to a finish are next. Paths to victory, traps, counters, and trump cards start with one micro adjustment each. For O's, it's tighter ignition windows and cleaner micro gestures to deny the read. For Zen'in, it's the half-step delay on her entry to land offbeat. Outside the arming window of timing traps. Whoever flips that timing first steals tempo. When conditions are clear. O's wants layered zones and baited counters. She builds choke points of heat, staggers delayed ignitions, and throws visual distortion from thermal shimmer over real lanes. Her name fireballs, Mera Mera, and Pusu Pusu can orbit as sentries, hemming footwork and punishing the greedy sidestep. Zen'in wants compression. She forces short range, hunts the grip fight, and either disarms with a cursed tool redirection or shuts ignition gestures with grapples and joint control. One turns the map into a maze, the other folds the map and tackles the cartographer. Tension sits in the opening. Oze's heat screens mask angles and fake doors, so a clean lane might be a trap. Zen'in's step-ins can erase setup time and flip a feint into a takedown before a delayed ignition matures. If Oze paints too carefully, she cedes initiative. If Zen'in rushes the read, she eats a seeded blast. Oze's plan is mean in detail. She plants heat at doorways, stacks delayed pops to herd movement, and uses baton feints to tax Zen'in's guard while her orbiting fire restricts lanes. Thermal Shimmer nudges entries a few inches wrong, which is all the punishment needs. Maremara and Pusupusu rotate at offset tempos, clipping exit routes and forcing a low stance that slows the burst. Zen'in's plan is equally sharp. She pre-reads cadence, baits a commit, slips inside with a cursed tool parry, then chains throws into locks that cage wrists and elbows. Her goal is to freeze Oze's ignition language. If the hands can't talk, the flames don't speak. Counters exist. Oze trains subtle micro-gestures and off-angle launches, so telegraph stays minimal even in a scramble. She can throw from unconventional lines to keep pressure live while retreating or sidestepping. Zen'in drills against wild techniques, uses cover to split sightlines, and runs a low profile to hide in dead zones between sentries. Two Makis enter, one Maki leaves, then both show up at roll call because the memo was vague and HR hates us. Trump cards matter. Oze's overclock is a high heat focused burst that can briefly reshape terrain, open a lane, or hard close one. Zen'in's hidden ace is a precise weapon swap to a specialized cursed tool designed to pin or sever options even through heat shimmer. We close a gap here. Cursed energy soaks incidental heat, but Oze targets timing and position, not just durability. With roots drawn and aces live, the next exchange determines who actually gets to spring theirs. Final verdict, Zen'in surges first. She breaches, clamps Oze's ignition arm, and drives for the finish. But Oze's discipline with preceded heat, confirmed second-gen tactics, turns the space against that overcommit. Residual charges bloom at the edge of Zen'in's step, just enough to break stance and free an angle. Oze's clean micro-gesture lands. Precision edges grit, while Oze weaponized the map with delayed ignition, while Zen'in's close-quarters aggression risks a single-minded push. Both recover from near defeat, but the tactical foresight wins this razor. If you love elite, female-led battle breakdowns, like, share, and subscribe. Drop your winner and why. Whose resolve felt like the ultimate expression of power. Next, we line up another name-mirror showdown with a wild power clash. Composure versus raw ferocity. You'll want to see how far sheer force of will can go.